distinguished presidents, Prime Minister, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and a real pleasure for me to address the EuroMed Parliamentary Assembly. Let me thank, first of all, the Hellenic Parliament and its honorable president, Mr. Dimitrios Youfas, for hosting this fourth plenary session here in Athens, where 4 years ago, the parliamentary body of the EuroMed partnership was officially established. The fact that Prime Minister Kostas Karamanlis is officially opening this plenary session and a high-level presence from the parliaments across the EuroMed countries is testimony to the importance that both sides of the Mediterranean attach to this forum. Allow me to greet in particular my good friend Hans-Gert Pöttering, whose strong and unwavering commitment to the cooperation between the European Union and our Mediterranean partners from the south is well known. I personally am well aware of his commitment and the way he has been working together with his colleagues from the southern, with our southern partners. Today, the Parliamentary Assembly has developed into one of the major assets of the EuroMed partnership as a unique forum for interparliamentary dialogue and cooperation on key issues of mutual benefit to both sides of the Mediterranean. The importance of this region, the Mediterranean region, for the whole European Union, for Europe as such, can never be overstated. In fact, it was in the Mediterranean that the very idea, the very concept of Europe was born. And it was in the Mediterranean, not really in European territory, but in the Mediterranean, that the idea, the dream of Europe came from myth to reality. The Mediterranean is the cradle of European civilization. But it's not only the cradle of our civilization. And here in Athens, we know well that the Mediterranean is at the crossroads of cultures, at the crossroads of this dialogue of civilizations. It has given a great contribution to the global history. It is a space that Europe shares with other countries. The decisions and actions of the European Union impact inevitably on our Mediterranean neighbors and vice versa. It is a common space in which we must interact fruitfully. But at the same time, it is a region that also faces major challenges, achieving peace, security, and prosperity. Therefore, the Mediterranean is an absolute priority for Europe, a priority on which delivery has now become urgent. This is the message that came out loud and clear from the European Council 2 weeks ago. The heads of state and government of the 27 member states endorsed the proposal for a major upgrading of our relationship through a reinvigorated Barcelona Process Union for the Mediterranean. I fully back this project. I want you to know that myself and the European Commission consider this an absolute priority for Europe, the Mediterranean. And I'm very pleased that heads of state and government asked the European Commission to come forward with the necessary proposals to deliver a new level of ambition, one which helps us to move ahead swiftly on tangible projects with our partners across the Mediterranean Sea. In upgrading our relationship, we need to build on our achievements, but also take an honest look at the shortcomings of our cooperation so far. There is a lot to be proud of. Compared to 1995, Euro-Mediterranean relations now have a solid framework, where before, only an intermittent pattern of contact existed. This includes not only the political level, but also people-to-people contacts through the Anna Lindh Foundation for Dialogue Between Cultures, the Civil Forum and the Civil Society Platform, the Gender Program, through the EuroMed Heritage and EuroMed Youth. Euro-Mediterranean networks have been created and are operational in areas such as institutes of economic research, political science institutes, investment promotion agencies, transport, energy, environment, local water management, to name but a few. Next June, we hope to see the inauguration of the Euro-Mediterranean University in Portorož, Slovenia. Also, all the association agreements have been negotiated and all but one are in force. In the energy field, the integration of the Maghreb electricity market, the progressive establishment of a Mashrek gas market, and the promotion of energy projects of common interest between Israel and Palestine are ongoing. EuroMed ministers gathered for the first time last November in Algarve, Portugal, to define a common and balanced agenda for regional cooperation on migration issues. We also have invested a lot in this partnership, not only politically but financially. Since 1995, nearly 10 billion euros have been committed in programs for the benefit of this region. EuroMed trade relations are healthy and growing. The dynamic setting trained by trade liberalization since the start of the Barcelona process has indeed boosted trade. Total Med exports to the European Union of 27 have grown by 10% per year during the period 2000-2006. Med imports from the European Union have been growing by 4% annually during the same period. Foreign direct investment has grown from $10 billion in 2000 to $40 billion in 2006. But this is only one side of the picture. We also need to be honest about where we have fallen short in our ambitions and why. And I think that among parliamentarians, we have to debate things frankly and openly. The truth is that we are now not at all near our ambition of realizing the fully fledged EuroMed regional free trade area that could be the largest in the world by 2010. And that was the goal. Trade relations are very uneven across the region and remain focused in few sectors and products. Sectors of the future, such as services, are totally underexploited. Yes, the European Union is the largest investor in our Mediterranean neighbors. We are followed by the Gulf countries and the US. But the European Union investment flows to the region represent just 1% of the European Union outward foreign direct investment. We have been strong in setting up structures, networks, instruments, but often short on delivering concrete benefits that are tangible for our citizens. On key issues of concern to our citizens, such as migration or gender equality, energy cooperation, and environment, issues that are at the heart of your Assembly's meeting today, we have been working hard, but tangible results that citizens can see are not yet there. And despite the investment in platforms and programs to facilitate people-to-people contacts, how many ordinary citizens around the Mediterranean actually know about Barcelona and the EuroMed? So we need to look at the factors that have held us back if we want this new initiative, the Union for the Mediterranean, to succeed. One factor stands out in my view. I think it is undeniable that the major single issue that has held us back is the enduring Middle East conflict. Periods of increased tensions have often brought cooperation to a halt. The resolution of this conflict is essential. if we are to progress towards regional integration and sustainable peace in all the Mediterranean region. Only a negotiation aimed at agreement on the final status issues can deliver a secure and stable future for both Palestinians and Israelis. We must maintain our resolve to achieve our joint objectives of peace, prosperity, security for the region. This is the most important issue for the whole Mediterranean. The second factor that I believe is also at the origins of our shortcomings is the unexploited potential for increased cooperation between our Mediterranean neighbors. Let's be frank about it. The level of integration or even cooperation in the southern part of Mediterranean is very low compared with what happens in the European Union side. And I remain convinced that a network of bilateral relations between the European Union and individual Mediterranean neighbor countries is no substitute for South-South integration and the creation of a truly regional market. Both are indispensable to boost investment and growth and reduce the wealth gap between Europe and its Mediterranean neighbors. The Agadir Free Trade Agreement can certainly contribute to further progress in this field. Inter-regional cooperation and South-South integration is also key to the creation of the 5 million jobs that are needed every year to meet the needs of the region's young population. This is why I welcome the focus on the regional cooperation of the Mediterranean Union. The programs developed under this initiative should have a strong potential to promote regional cohesion and economic integration, inter alia, by developing infrastructure interconnections. So I would like to emphasize this point. I think it is important to make a success of our cooperation that we develop concrete projects where the regional dimension is present. Infrastructure is one of these areas. Another one is, of course, everything that has to do with energy, environment, and climate protection. That was one, if not the main topic of your assembly. I'm not going now in detail on this. My colleague of the Commission, Stavros Dimas, will address you later today, and will tell you about our ambitious proposals regarding energy and climate. You know that we have adopted them at European level, and I want to tell our friends in the south of the Mediterranean that we want to work with you to make a success of these global efforts, because it is a global problem. Having in mind more concretely this year's conference in Poznan, and next year, very important global conference in Copenhagen. We need a global agreement. And this is the kind of issues where we can have concrete action at the regional level: energy and environment and climate protection. The Commission is ready to share its long experience in these matters and is willing to consider how this can best be used for further development of our relations in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, we all agree that more needs to be done to achieve the ambitious objectives set out in the Barcelona Declaration. Whether we look at the achievements or the shortcomings of our partnership, we must consider the sense of mutual responsibility and joint ownership that remains one of the core principles of the Barcelona process, and which needs to guide us in the upgrade that the Union for the Mediterranean is aiming at. We need to move from intentions to delivery. We need an EuroMed of results. Results that our citizens can see and can identify with. We need to increase the sense of belonging to a community on both sides of the Mediterranean. If I may make a personal remark with you, let me tell that some years ago, I would say already many years ago, I was one of the foreign ministers that launched the 5+5 process. 5 countries of Southern Europe and 5 countries of Northern Africa and the Mediterranean as well. And that's why I really have this feeling of impatience and the need of urgency to make this a reality. We have made progress, it's true. We are much better than in '95, but we need to put more political investment in this big project, because there are real global challenges. The Commission and myself, we want the summit in Paris on the 13th of July to be a success. So there is an urgency problem. Over the coming weeks, we will hold consultation with all EuroMed partners to see how we can deliver on the expectations of our citizens and create a real sense of Mediterranean community. And here I would like to make a strong plea to you. We urgently need the input of parliamentarians from the EuroMed area in order to make sure that we get it right, that we choose the right deliverables, that we can create a political will and a sense of ownership in all participating states, without which we will fail. And who is better placed than this EuroMed Parliamentary Assembly to provide the necessary impetus and linking with citizens' concerns and public opinion, and also to help us mobilize all the governments of the region. We need to examine together the different options for this enhanced cooperation, especially the budgetary considerations. At the heart of our relations with our Mediterranean partner countries is our desire to promote security, growth, stability in the region. But there is also the abiding conviction that we are taking part in an even more ambitious project, building a region of peace and affirming common goals and common values. I'm sure that together, with the commitment of the European Parliament and the parliaments of the European Union member states and of our partners, with a strong impetus from this Euro-Mediterranean Parliamentary Assembly, we will rise to this challenge. On my own behalf and on behalf of the European Commission, I want to tell that we are very committed to this very important goal. Thank you for your attention.